everybody, we're going to get into how to use this book and why this method works. This book isn't about guessing. It's about using patterns, pairs, and clusters to find out what's coming next. This is a system, it's not a guessing game. So once you know how to extract the right pairs, you'll start seeing how predictable the lottery actually is. In this video, I'm going to explain the basics, the foundation, and then we'll get into some of the strategies. But in the next video, we'll go deeper into some more strategies. I want you guys to get the foundation and how to do this down first. Okay? So let's get into this. So the basic instructions are to take your pairs, look them up in the book, find the numbers associated with those pairs, and then choose how you want to play based on your budget and strategy. So there's going to be some different strategies I'll show you guys, and it'll be according to how you guys play and according to how you guys want to look at this, because you know there's many different ways that you can look at this. Okay, so basically if two pairs fall together, look those two pairs up and play the number that's associated with it. So we got to extract the pairs from the number and make the pair sets. Okay, so with a pick 3 double, there's only going to be 2 pairs, and that's going to be simple. And then you look up those 2 pairs and you'll find the associated number with that pair. There's only going to be one number. Okay, however, with a single, we're going to have 3 pairs, and that creates 3 sets of 2 pairs. I'm going to get into that. That's a little bit tricky. And we want to also look into pair stacking or falling a lot, clustering. That will indicate or trigger that the number associated with the clustering pairs is going to come out. Okay. And Miss April Rain has been showing us a little bit of that. I wanted to say a special thank you to her because she has been really active and really doing her tracking and doing her work and sharing her tips that she's found, you know, because the instructions do say in the same draw number, when the 2 pairs are drawn together in the same draw number or back to back. And that's what I meant by that, is that clustering that she's showing you guys that can indicate a number. Okay, so let's, how to extract these pairs. Let's walk through this first, okay? So if you have a pick 3 single number, that's going to create 3 pairs. Here's some real-time examples. So we're going to take this 098 and we're going to pair that out, okay? So for this 098, we have the pairs 09. Okay, so you just go 0, 9, 0, 8, 98. Okay, 0, 9, 0, 8, 9, 8. Okay, now that gives us 3 pairs, and it gives us 3 pair sets. So we got to go 0, 9, and 0, 8, 0, 9, and 98, and 0, 8, and 98. So 0, 9, and 0, 8. We're going to look that up in the book. 0, 9, and 98. We're going to look that up in the book. And 0, 8, and 98. So we look those 3 up in the book, and that's going to give us 3 numbers. So a single does give us more than one number. It gives us 3 numbers to play. Okay, so let's go look that up in the book. All right, 0, 9, and 0, 8. So that's, the pairs are listed at the top so you can easily see. Now we're at 0, 9 and we're at 0, 8. Whether we look up, it does matter. The pair being straight matters. So we have to list it as 98 instead of 89 because it fell 98. Same thing with 0, 8 and 0, 9. It fell 0, 8. It fell 0, 9. Okay. So we do have to look the pairs up straight, but it doesn't matter which way. Like when we go here, we can see that 0, 8 and 0, 9 give us 0, 7, 2. Or if we look up 09 and 08, it gives us 072. So we're not going to find a different number if we look those up different. 08 and 98 is 784. 09 and 98 is 882. Okay? And one of the things that you will notice is, like with this double, if the book gives you a double, that 82 might fall. The single pair that goes along with that double that it gives you, which is 82. This has two pairs, 88 and 82. So we want that single pair, that 82 might fall. After the 098 did in fact have an 82 fall. So that works a lot, you guys. I've noticed that works in Georgia. Some states are going to favor certain ways and do certain things like that, and some states are not. This is why we're going to get into some of the ways that your state might behave with this book, okay? Also, just a special note, if the number begins with a 0, that pair might fall. So if you see the number beginning with a 0, that pair might fall. So like with the 072, that 72 might fall. If the 0's in the front, it's way more likely to give you that pair. So we have paired out a single, okay, and it gives us 3 numbers, okay, to work with and to look at. All right, now we're going to go with a double. With a double, you only have 2 pairs. You only have this 1 and the 5 and the 55. 1 5, and it fell 1 5. If it had been 5 1 5, we might want to look that single pair up 2 ways, and I'll show you that with another number in just a minute. But let's go with this for right now. This one's simple. It's 1 5 and 5 5, or you could say 5 5 and 1 5. But as long as you got it the way it fell, the pair straight. So that fell 1 5. It didn't fall 5 1. If it had fallen 5 5 1, this would be a 51 instead of a 15. Okay? So you got to make sure the pair is straight. All right? That is important. And that gives us an 825. In Arkansas, here's the 155. And then 1, 2, 3 drawings later, we had the 582 fall. Okay? All right. Let's look at a few other examples, because there are some examples, and you guys can look at these in your book. Okay? Look these up in your book. We'll walk through a couple of more. Let's look at another single example. I want to look at special instances like this. This is 570, so we got a 57, a 50, and a 70. 57, 50, and 70. Okay? So, alright, now we got to make our pair sets. 57 and 50, 57 and 70, and 50 and 70. So we got 57 and 50, 57 and 70, and then we got 50 and 70. Okay, so 50 and 70, it's got to be 70, not 07. So the 50 and the 70 pair gives us a 500. Okay, and one thing that I can say also is whenever the book gives you 2 zeros, because zeros are special instances, when it gives you 2 zeros, you can almost bet that a 0 is going to fall. So 57 and 50 is going to be on the bottom. 57 and 70 is right here, and it's a 990, and it gives you the 990 that fell twice. Okay, 57 and 50 is down here, and it gives us an 850. 570 was right here, and look, use the pairs. If it gives you a double, use those pairs, because look at that. It's in Louisiana. In Georgia, it usually gives me the single pair, but look at that. That's the double pair that came from 570. That's the 99 in the next drawing, in the very next drawing. So one of those pairs is going to fall. If it's a double, it's a very strong indicator. If the book gives you a double, you better pair it out and watch those pairs. Okay? Also, if it gives you a 0, 0, watch for zeros. 570 already had a 0 in it, so, I mean, but we do have zeros. And it did come, how many drawings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? So, I mean, if you had paired out, 570 and 199 is going to give you only one number. So you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 numbers to play by the time you're playing on the 18th. You only have 25 numbers to play. So, I mean, looking at, what's going on in the last 10 drawings, it may take up to 10 drawings to fall. It does things a lot quicker with like this pair indicators because that was a double, us knowing. And then just knowing that 99 came out, we know that, the 90 is going to come out. The 90 did come out as a 990, as the whole number. So both of the pairs from that 990 came back. And the number, So just a heads up on how that works. Okay, let's go look at a few more. Michigan got the 733. So that would be a 73, not a 37. A 73 and a 33 pair. Mississippi got 935. And we paired that out and it gave us 385. Okay. New Jersey got 473 and it gave New Jersey 102. North Carolina had 208 and it gave 650. 467 gave Ohio 491. Oklahoma. This is one of the ones I wanted to talk to you guys about because we've got a 71 and a 17. Okay? So we are going to have 3 pairs in this. Just a little bit differently. So 71, let's pair it out. 71, 77, and a 17. Okay? So we can look up these 3. We're going to look up 71 and 77, 71 and 17, 77 and 17. So we got 71 and 77, 71 and 17, and 77 and 17. So there's the 207, there's the 309, okay, right here, 467 straight. So there are instances with a split double where it will give you 3 pair sets. We see where 487 in Pennsylvania gave 256 straight. You guys can look these up in the book. And I'm going to give you guys some challenges to do. 946 gave South Carolina 420 yesterday. All right, this is one of the special things, 2 of the special things, Texas and Tri-State. Okay, and like I said, with logic matches, we just talked a little bit about that. But these are 2 examples that I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys 999. This is a triple, and it gave us the 180. Okay, now how do we do that? Well, if you really think about it, there's only one pair in there. It's a 99, but that pair is in there 3 times. So here we have 99 and 99, and that gives us 801. And here we are with 999, and it gave 180, same day, right there. Okay? Same day hit. But we got the 180, so we're going to pair that out. Okay? So we go 1 and 8, 1 and 0, 8 and 0. Okay? 1 and 8, 1 and 0, 8 and 0. Now we have to make our sets to look up in the book. So we go 18 and 10, 18 and 80, 10 and 80. Okay, so 18, and 10. We're going to look that up. We're going to look up 18 and 80. We're going to look that up. And then we're going to look up 10 and 80. Okay? Now, all right, 10 and 18 gives us 180. Okay? All right, and that 0 is not in front, but we could use that 18 pair. Not so much. If it's not in the front, I wouldn't. I mean, it might work in your state if it's not in the front, though. So check in your history. This is why it's important for you guys to go into your history and see how your state is behaving with this, because, you know, certain states do things certain ways. And they will do them for a certain amount of time that way, and then they'll stop doing it that way. And then they'll rotate on to doing something else a certain way. And then it'll stop doing that, and it'll go back to what originally stopped happening. It'll kind of rotate. 10 and 80. That gives us the 800. Okay? So that gives us, like I said, with a double, we got that 0, 0, so we know a 0 is liable to come back. And we know that if it gives us a double, you watch that single pair. We'll watch the double pair too, depending on what state it is. Like I said, look in your state's history and see what it does, because it's, you know, it's doing this in a lot of states, but it may not do it in your state. So with that 180, when we looked it up, it gave us a double. It gave us the 80 pair, basically. We know zeros are coming back. The very, you know, we got one draw. Okay, yeah, whatever. The 8 came back. And, you know, you can look at digits with this too. It will indicate digits as well, but we're not going to get into all that right now. Let's just get into the basics. If we got a double pair prediction, the book gives us a 800 or a 880. It doesn't matter. I look at those two numbers as the same number. If this gives me an 800 to play, I'm gonna play a 880 in any strategy. I always use my mates. If you guys don't know that by now, you should already know it. Okay, always use your mates. Mate to 800 is 880. Okay, but the single pair is 80. And like I said, when this book gives you a double, I would definitely look at that single pair. With another rule, this is another separate rule. When it gives you a double 0, zeros are more likely to start clustering, falling next. You're going to see zeros appear, okay? Usually, all right? But usually, whenever this book gives you a double, use the single pair. And that 80 did come back, and it's a return pair, you know? So it's giving us an idea of what the return pair is going to be. If you didn't buy the book, then that's okay. You know, we're going to be showing you some things, and you guys can write them down and use them for the future. Like a 999 will equal a 180. And so it's not necessary that you buy the book, but if you did buy the book, and a lot of you did, then you'll get 1 free month of membership. I am going to start a membership. The first month for everybody that bought the book is going to be free, and I'm going to be teaching you guys in that first month. I'm going to be teaching you guys a little bit of extra strategy, but we'll be learning some more in-depth stuff that first month, so I can give you guys some extra tips and tricks without giving things away to the people in here who did not buy the book. This one, gonna reiterate about this mate thing. Tri-State dropped 110. We got 11 and 10. 10 and 11, 110. 11 and 10, 110. You look up those pairs, they're giving you the same number. We know that the single pair is liable to fall if they're giving us a double. That's just telling us our mate's going to come back. And this is a logic match for a lot of things. And with zeros, we know. And this is something that a lot of people should just write down. 110, that mate, those mates are going to run together strong. A 001, the 00, it's strong. So this is a logic match for us. Play back your mates, especially if they show up in a great method. So, I mean, this doesn't show us our mate, but it shows us the same number. So, that to me is saying, hey, because a 110 to me is a 001. Okay? Somebody had said in one of the groups, and this will happen as well. It gave him a 255 in Mississippi. Let's walk through Mississippi. So let's do 935 in Mississippi. Okay, let's pair this out. We got 93, We're extracting our pairs. 95. And we got 35. Now we're going to match them up so that we got our pair sets. 93 and 95. 93 and 35. And 95 and 35. Okay. 93 and 95. 93 and 35. 95 and 35. Okay, so we'll look those up in the book. 93 and 35 gives us 255. Okay. 93 and 95 gives us 835. This in Mississippi mirrored. So this is another thing that your state may or may not do. There is a free book on wisewomenlotto.com, and it will show you how you basically break down all 220 boxed pick 3 numbers into, I think it's 35 numbers, by using mirrors. So this is like a set. 700 is a part of that set. But, 700 fell. This is a 255. A 255 is a 700 all day long. We know that. And someone pointed that out in the Mississippi group. They're, how that's working in Mississippi. You guys need to get into the history of your state and see how it works. 935 right there. And then 2 drawings, it gave us the 700. Now, with that being said, we talked about the single pair falling, and it gave us a 255. And that single pair is a 25. Now, it took a couple of drawings, but there it is, straight, 254. And that's almost a 255. This is a rule that's in the lottery. If a double falls, the single pair is liable to return. So we just use it with our method, and it works. But it is a rule, and it does work well in certain states. So we will get into more of the clustering. If you're seeing pairs stacking and clustering, that does signal an upcoming number, okay? We'll look at more of those examples next time. And like I said, Miss April Rain is already, big shout out to her. Thank you so much. She's already showing us some of that. She's using the book wisely. Let's just be aware that some things it might trend like that, and some states might favor certain things. And if you go back into your state's lottery history and you track this book and you look at what's going on, you're going to be able to see, and it might favor certain things in your state. You've got to look back into your history and see what your state is doing particularly. Okay, so you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.